Welcome to episode 21 of the Old White Man Show. I call it the Old White Man Show because I'm old, I'm white, and I'm a man. I was born white, I was born a man, and I just grew old. That seems to offend some people, but I can't help it. If you don't like the idea that I'm white, maybe you're a racist. If you don't like the idea that I'm a man, then maybe you got other problems. And if you don't like the idea I'm old, I could care less, because I'm old and I deserved it to be old. I've been working all my life to get old. Life is kind of funny because sometimes you got people in your life that changes things. Different things affects you. Like, for example, today's Sunday. I went to Mass this morning and I had a PTSD episode in Mass, anxiety attack in Mass. I didn't participate. I sat there the whole time. I have no idea what was said. Sometimes you got problems like that, you know. I know there's other people out there that I know that has PTSD. They got problems. They try to work on them. I try to work on mine. Then there's people out there that has it and wants to keep it a big secret because they're thinking that if people knows you got PTSD, they're gonna think different of you. You are what you are. In life, you try to do the best you can do. Try to be honest. Try to be faithful. Try to be fair. Do your best. If you make a mistake, it's okay. If you have a problem, it's okay. We're all not perfect. I mean, Jesus spent a few days in purgatory. He went to hell for 3 days, they say. I don't know if that's true or not, but, that's what they say. I don't know who's perfect. I know I'm not, but I try to be the best person I can be. When I was in the real estate field, I did about $900 million in sales, and that's a lot of commissions. You know, if I got 6% of 900 million, that would be 54 million, but I didn't get 6%. Sometimes I got 3%, sometimes I got 4%, sometimes I got 2%. Most of the time I got 1% or less because I always took care of everybody who was involved in the transaction. I didn't think that people should not be awarded for their efforts, so I remembered them. Even when they think they didn't deserve anything, I made sure that they got paid. That's just the type of person I was, and everybody who knows me, they will attest to that I was the broker who shared a lot of money. I did what I thought was right. Uh, there's other people, sometimes they don't do what's right. I know one time I invested in a oil well. We was gonna drill, so we're gonna drill and take a chance on doing an oil well. The guy presented a good story. He sold me on it. I gave him my money. Everyone else did. He drilled the well, and then he showed up one day with a check, giving everybody their money back, saying that the well was not a success, and he didn't feel good about it. But I felt that he hit a bonanza, and he just was cheating us. That's the type of person you really want to do any business with. So I took my money back. I didn't argue. I just never would invest with him again or recommend him again. Had another guy, an attorney, who found some land out there by the Aledo area, Hudson Oaks, I believe it was. Put it under contract. Needed money to close it. I gave him my money. Next thing I know, he's giving me the money back saying it was a bad deal. I don't believe that. I think he got the money and flipped it, made a nice profit, and put it in his pocket. You know, but that's just the way he was. And after that, I didn't do any more deals with him. You know, people like that. There's a lot of dishonest people out there. They know you know who you are. You know, I had some attorneys one time that represented me, and I looked on a building that said that apparently I bought that building. It was in my name, and they sold it and made a profit on it. I never bought the building. I never knew nothing about it till after the building changed hands. You know, it's just the way people does business. I never been that type of person. I just avoid it. Today we live in a world that we have all different types of things that's affecting us. Back in 2008, there was a young senator from Illinois who was running for President of the United States, Barack Obama. I didn't vote for him, but I supported his right to run for office, regardless of his affiliations or his beliefs. He had the right to run for office. I even made contributions to him, significant contributions to him. And he won the election, and he won the next election. I didn't agree with his policies. I didn't agree with a lot of things that he did, but he was my president. He won fair and square, I thought, and I supported his efforts. After that, George Bush got into office. While I voted for George Bush, I never liked him. I didn't believe his policies was accurate. I think he was owned by somebody else. All this became real clear in 2016 when a TV character, a businessman named Trump, ran for office and actually won the presidency of the United States of America. I did vote for him because the alternative was terrible, terrible, terrible person who told me I was deplorable and I wasn't worth anything. I was just one of these low Democrats that she didn't like. So I voted for Trump. I say, hey, it's time to get someone in there that's not a politician. Get someone in there that's not a lawyer. Get someone out in there that's saying something that I believe in, make America great again, to bring jobs back to America, to stand up to countries that we have been bowing to for years. And he did that. So in 4 years, President Trump stood up for America. He brought jobs back to America. He made America first. And while he's doing that, during those 4 years, our government fought him at every step. The FBI cheated and lied and did things they shouldn't have done. The CIA, this guy Brennan, he's a terrible, terrible human being. He's a liar. You can see he's a liar. People from the Department of Justice, our representatives, and many of our senators betrayed America trying to do away with a duly elected person. We went through 4 years of hell with false impeachments, and false investigations, stuff that wasn't right. And then on a re-election, where a man goes out and does 2 to 5 campaign rallies a day in different states, with tens of thousands of people at each one of them, he loses by a landslide to a career politician, a person whose only accomplishment was putting innocent black people in jail, or more black people in jail. Maybe he wasn't innocent, but he wanted the black people in jail. He didn't want his kids exposed to the jungle. not a good man, a man who on national TV showed how he used the power of the United States purse to sway countries to do stuff that he wanted done. A man who didn't campaign much at all, stayed in his basement. And when he did campaign, he might have 2, 3, 4 dozen people show up, mostly media. You know, a man who didn't show America was behind him, won by 10 million votes. I mean, if he got 80 million and Trump got 70 million, that's 150 million out of 330 to 340 million population in the United States. And not all our population was eligible to vote. Many of our population is naturalized citizens, not citizens. Many of them is illegal people, you know. Many of them below the age of 18. So, you know, the chances of having 150 million people vote in the election on a population our size is very, very slim. The numbers don't add up. And then on election day, when a man's leading in all the swing states by hundreds of thousands of votes, and all of a sudden shut down the polls for a few hours and then reopen them and find out that he's losing, it don't seem right to me. Something was wrong. I think there's been a massive fraud in this presidential election. And I think that this fraud in our political process is more of an act of treason. And I think whoever's been involved in this fraud should be held liable for treason. Whoever you may be, Democratic, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, if you committed fraud in this 2020 election, you should be held for treason and you should get the maximum sentence possible. We need to set a standard. I no longer have trust in my government. As a Democrat, I don't trust my party. I don't trust the FBI, the CIA, the DOJ. I don't trust anyone that's sitting in Congress. I just don't trust you. You lost my faith. You know, I do love my country and I trust my country, and I think that we will come back. We will have a surprise for big media. We will have a surprise for big tech. And we will have surprise for these so-called elected officials who's doing this to America. Because some of us will resist. Many of us will resist. You know. And when you start giving this stuff away, trying to fulfill whatever promises you make, which we know you won't, because for years y'all have been promising that y'all are going to do away with racism, but apparently y'all use racism as your chief weapon. For years you've been promising that you're going to give people citizenship, but you don't, because you use that as another weapon. You lie, and you lie to the American people. You put other countries first. You put other theologies first. You know, you don't put America first. You know, I'm not part of Great Britain. I don't want to be a part of Great Britain. You know, Britain's having lots of riots today in London. I'm not part of France. They're having riots. I'm not an African country or a citizen of Africa. They having riots. I'm not Chinese. I'm not Indian. I'm not Mexican. I'm not Canadian. I'm an American. I want to put America first. I want jobs to come to America. I want American people to be able to work. I don't want the stock market, the big banks, the the rich people to control what's going on in my country no more. I want my country to become back to the people. And the only way we can come back to the people is to stand up for our rights. And I got people out there that says I'm whining or I'm un-American from saying what I'm saying. But these is people whose opinion I don't respect. These is people who never paid a price, never fought for our country, never paid their fair share. And this is people who uses people to get what they want. They use it however they can and they think they're justified. And for you, I have no respect. Speaking of respect, I got to go to yesterday's football game. The LSU Tigers against the Texas A&M Aggies. The Aggies, for the second time in 10 years, was able to defeat the LSU Tigers. Yes, they had help from referees because that touchdown that was called back, I think that was a touchdown. I think he had possession of that. I think there was a few calls made by the refs, but the Aggies, not only do they have a high-paid coach, they got high-paid refs. But that being said, the win goes to Texas A&M. My son-in-law gets $5 because I got to pay him $5 for that. Next week we play Alabama. Hopefully we can do good playing Alabama. It is a rebuilding year, and I said at the beginning of the season we're probably going to go 5-5, and I still believe we can probably go 5-5 if we get to play that many games. Right now we're 3-4, and next week we're probably going to be 3-5. But then we got a couple weeks after that maybe we can bring it up. And if we go 5-5, we'll be bowl eligible. We're playing freshmen. Our first string quarterback, hopefully he will be able to play next week good. Our second string quarterback, he needs to grow up a little bit. Good player, wonderful father, played for the Mavericks. Speaking of the Mavericks and pro sports, you guys is really doing yourself in. I know the Cowboys lost, and I know the LSU can still beat the Cowboys. I don't know who won the championship in basketball. I don't really care. I don't know who won it in baseball. I don't care. And I don't know who won it in hockey, and I don't care. I'm giving up pro sports like many Americans. People who love their country and decide that we need to forget these people, these millionaire players who wants to become politicians. Hopefully you run for office. Maybe you can do something better than what you're doing now. And if you really want to help out Black Lives Matters, don't give to the organization. Go find a black family and help them. Help them get out of debt. Pay off their college tuition. Use some of your money for good. And you movie star people who talks. Hey, if you got $10 million, go give $9 million away. If you got $100 million, go give $90 million away. Go do something good with your money. Instead of just talking about it. Robert De Niro and people like him has lost our respect of the American people. We don't want that no more. We want America back, and it's gonna done. That being said, I'm gonna go to Mexico next week. Drink margaritas, drink sombreros, eat good food, and enjoy the Mexican people. Have a good week.